What professional buffet has a serial number of 57,000 and is not an R13? We're going to learn about that right now. So what we have here is we have someone who emailed me and they said they have a buffet clarinet that's a single joint clarinet. You know, in the old days, they used to make them out of one big long piece. So B flat would be this big. They really haven't made those in a long time. You'll still see E flat clarinets made from one piece because otherwise you have two really stuck together short pieces. But what we have here didn't really make much sense. So the serial number was in the 57,000 range. It's a Carl Fischer single jointed clarinet. Now Carl Fischer kind of stopped using their emblem in the 30s, I believe. So it's like, well, that didn't make any sense. 57,000 serial number. It can't be a late 1950s. It can't really be a mid 56 1957 R13. That doesn't make much sense. So they finally sent me some pictures. We're going to take a look at those pictures right now.
So what we immediately have here, as you can tell, is clearly not R13. Now there's a couple ways we can tell it. One, if we look at the throat keys, it doesn't have an adjuster screw, so that takes us back to like the 1930s. The throat keys share a single post, because there's 3 posts there instead of 4. So that takes us pre-R13. And a couple other things. If you notice on the key, you see that little dot on the pinky key. Let me show you what that is. So what those dots are, they see in older clarinets, like this key here. See that dot? On the opposite side of it is a spring, right where the dot would be. That is the screw. That dot is the screw that's basically grinded down to match the shape of the key. And that flat spring bounces it back. It doesn't use regular needle spring. If we take a look at the key itself, I mean the clarinet itself, you'll see right here is an insert, metal insert, where that flat spring goes into and holds it there as a cradle. Lets it slide a little bit better. And that takes us back to a long time ago, well, not too long ago, of pre-R13s, going back to at least the 40s. So that's one indicator this is definitely not an R13. Take a look at a couple other pictures here. And this just shows you it's an enhanced bone. It's not a full bone, doesn't have that last right hand pinky key. But here in the upper joint part, it has the sliver E flat closing a speaker key, has a third ring on the CG key. That actually helps close that speaker key, I believe. Also, the CG sharp key, the left-hand pinky key, it can be activated by not only the left-hand pinky, but also the first or second finger sliver key, which we can see on here, right here. So we can control it with either hand. Comes in very handy. Also has an E flat lever and left-hand pinky key. There's those 2 sliver keys again. One is a regular side, F sharp. The other is the trill key for the C sharp, G sharp key. Moving on, one long case. Here we can clearly see the bell says Carl Fischer, New York. Now, usually bells can easily be replaced on a clarinet. So you can have an older bell and a newer clarinet. I don't think that's a big problem. So but this clearly goes with the clarinet and the barrel mouthpiece. Now this mouthpiece, by the way, if you notice, the emblem is in the lower part of the shank below the ligature. I've had a couple of these actually play fairly nice. Roller baffle isn't quite rolled over, if I recall. It's a little bit deeper, darker mouthpiece, but they play really well. Also notice on the throat key, it has no adjuster on here. Of course, these are shared. These posts are shared right here. There's no adjuster on it. And you also have the flat sheet trill key guides. This one happens to have a long front register key with a teapot register pip on the top. But there's a closer look at it. The reason the emblem is worn off is a lot of people, when they put on and off the barrel, put the pieces, joints together, you kind of wear off the upper joint just by holding it like this. You'll notice the thumb rest has one screw on it. It has one screw on the top and one screw in the bottom, like this one does here. See the one screw on the top? And there's one screw in the bottom. Just like that. That really puts us into the pre-1930 era. And here is something quite interesting. We can clearly see the serial number is 57601. That puts it in, 1957. But this is not a 1957 clarinet. And we're going to look at the serial number list real quickly here, and we're going to see why this is slightly confusing.
So taking a quick look at the serial number, we can see that it's 57601. So it's definitely in the range of the R13s from the 1957 era. But there's something else that we're missing here. And let's go to the serial number chart and we're going to see what it is. So looking at the serial number chart, in the early years of clarinet serial numbers for Buffet, they used letters, numbers and letters. And they actually used close to the entire alphabet. They also used the letter O, of course, which looks like a zero. If we look through here, we can see in 1900, they had O1 through O521. 1901, they had 1 O and 990. And so we can see this. We just keep rolling up a bit into the 1920s. We will see 201 and 69201 as the maximum number. So the 57 number clearly fits into this. And that is based in 1922 clarinet, not in 1957. So if you're looking at old clarinets, they give you a serial number with just make sure that sometimes it could be older. So you always want to make sure the clarinet has the identifying keywork of what you're looking for. In this case, the 1957 R13 just didn't make sense because it had the, importer engraving on the bell, and then all the keywork didn't match out, and the serial number didn't seem to fit. It's like, what was wrong? In this case, the 0 is not a 0, it's an O. 69201. That's what we have. We have a 1922 Buffet clarinet. So that's what we have is a 1922 professional Buffet clarinet with serial number that looks like it's from 1957. Very, very interesting. Anyways, don't forget to give it a like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you later. Any questions, comments, put down below. And we'll see you in the next video.